Good morning, everybody. I'm going to get started on this here in just a second. I want to let a few more people hop on, and then we're going to talk about some winter weather that we have moving into the south as we head into the start of the week. So we're talking about probably Tuesday. Tuesday, the day we got to watch as this potential winter system starts to move in. But again, I'm going to let more of you kind of hop on here, and then we'll get going here in just a sec. Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday to you. I'm doing a Facebook Live from home. Gonna just make this kind of a brief one, but I wanted to discuss this winter storm that's gonna be moving into Texas and Louisiana and even portions of Florida. I mean, this is gonna be a very rare historic event for central and southern Louisiana. We're talking places like Baton Rouge, maybe Lafayette. We're talking even New Orleans, places like that that could see snowfall that they have not seen in many, many years. We're talking since you know, the 1960s, the last time we saw a potential event like this, and maybe even some places since the 1800s, which goes to show you how rare and historic this event could be. We're talking about an area of heavy snow that's going to spread from East Texas into central and southern Louisiana as we head into Monday night into Tuesday. That looks like the timing at this point. And again, there could be some areas in the southern portions. Now, this is weird. I know. Southern Louisiana is what we're going to watch here. At southern portions of the state, central and southern Louisiana, there are some areas that could see maybe close to 10 inches of snow on Tuesday. So a very historic event potentially, and could be causing some very bad travel, could just cripple travel, especially in southern portions of the state. And now the interesting thing is for us in the Arklatex along I-20, I don't think this is going to be a big deal. In fact, the very latest data, that's why I was waiting to do this Facebook Live. I wanted to wait for the new models to come in, but they are trending farther to the south. And so if that trend continues, places like I-20, Shreveport, Bossier, we might not get anything. We might get a few snow flurries, no accumulation. As of now, I'm thinking the brunt of this system is going to pass off to our south. So Natchitoches, you'll be right on the line, Leonard. I think Natchitoches could see, at least at this point, I would think over 3 inches of snow, maybe up to 4 in that area. We'll keep an eye on that. But anyway, let me go into some forecast models here. And I apologize in advance if this is a little delayed because my connection sometimes at home can be pretty slow. But anyway, this is the brand new American model. This is the brand new data. You're seeing this for the first time that just came in moments ago. And as you can see, not much going on this weekend. The weekend's looking pretty quiet. As we take you into Monday, this is Monday, 6 a.m. Still not much going on there. And then we get into Tuesday. Well, actually, this is Monday night. Excuse me. This is late Monday night. That's about midnight. And you can see that the winter storm starts to get going, but look how far south it is. So we're talking, places like San Antonio, Houston, Texas, maybe Austin, Texas, starting to see some wintry mix. That starts to move into southwestern Louisiana by that time. And then we get into Tuesday at midday. This is kind of when the brunt of this winter storm is going to be rolling through. But as you can see right there, it looks like most of this stays to our south. Now, again, this is just one forecast model, but the trend is south with this. And I kind of talked about this on air yesterday that, it seems like, Shreveport and Bossier just kind of missing out on all the winter weather because the last winter storm that we had missed us all to the north. Places like, McCurtain County and portions of Arkansas got hit pretty good with our last winter storm. Meanwhile, the I-20 area, Shreveport, Bossier, we really didn't get much at all. And it looks like this one's going to actually miss us to the south. So for those hoping for a lot of snow along the I-20 corridor, I just don't think it's going to happen. I do think central and southern Louisiana, though, going to get hit pretty good with this. Again, this is the latest model data. You can see noon on Tuesday. So that's really that's south of I-20 for the most part. And I really think the I-10 corridor actually is going to get hammered with this. I mean, places that are not accustomed to this at all. We're talking like Baton Rouge, Lafayette, even New Orleans, Cameron, places like that, really could get hammered by this thing. And we could be talking about a crippling snowstorm there. We're talking places along the beaches of the Gulf Coast that could be talking several inches of snow. So that's just crazy. And this could impact the Florida Panhandle as well. And this whole thing kind of moves out as we head into late Tuesday night. So again, that's the very latest data. Let's take a look at the snowfall potential that this forecast model is showing us. And as I mentioned, I do have a very slow internet connection here, so just kind of bear with me as I go through these graphics. But again, the potential is there for some significant snowfall across central and southern Louisiana. So let's take a look at what the forecast model is showing there. And again, if you've been watching me the last couple of days and watching our weather team, the models have kind of been all over the place with this. One day it kind of looks like it's trending north, and it looks like it's going south and north again. So it's been certainly a tricky forecast, and it's been one that's been very challenging for us. And this is the reason why I have not issued a first alert weather day for the Arklatex yet, because to be honest with you, I think the brunt of this is going to move to our south. But there's your latest snowfall forecast. This is the brand new data from the GFS. And hopefully you guys can see this okay. Unfortunately, I can't really zoom in anymore on this, but I can kind of show you that area of purple that you see across portions of South Texas, Southeast Texas there near Houston, over through portions of Louisiana. That's an area of about 5 to 8 inches of snow, and that would include Baton Rouge. That is right along the I-10 corridor, New Orleans, maybe just north of Lake Pontchartrain, but it's going to be a close call. And you can see that area of snow maybe extending up to I-20. So if you're watching from Shreveport and Bossier, we could, I'm going to probably try to put out a snowfall map at some point later today or tomorrow morning. But I'm thinking Shreveport and Bossier, if I was to throw a total out there, I'd say less than a half an inch. I mean, it's going to be a dusting if at most at this point, as it looks along I-20. I didn't believe in the Barksdale bubble, but now that I'm seeing what's happening, maybe it is an actual thing. Who knows? It seems like everything's kind of missing the I-20 corridor here, but this is going to be a southern Louisiana event. This is not going to be so much for us. Having said that, our viewing area does extend pretty far south. So if you're watching from Natchitoches Parish, if you're watching from Sabine Parish down there, Manny, I'm thinking like Natchitoches, places like that, even Toledo Bend, you could get quite a bit of snow. So it's really our far southern parishes that could see some pretty decent snowfall out of this. But again, I know it's hard to see there, and I do apologize on this screen. Maybe I can pull up full screen here, help you out just a little bit. No, it doesn't really help, does it? But anyway, what you need to know from this is that area of purple that you see down there. That's about 4 to 8 inches of snow, and that's going to be really across central and southern Louisiana. Maybe a little bit of accumulation extending as far north as the I-20 corridor, but again, I think the brunt of this is going to be just off to our south. So let me switch forecast models here and show you the European model. That was the American model we were just looking at there. And now we'll look at the European model, which has even a further south solution. And so again, that's why I'm kind of saying that a lot of this is trending south, because a lot of the forecast models are really showing this in southern portions of Louisiana. And we'll just see. We'll see how this plays out. We're still a couple days away, so things can certainly still change. But just based on the data that I'm seeing, I'm thinking this is going to be well south of I-20 at this point. So let me load up this. And this is the European model, excuse me. And it's basically showing the same sort of deal here. So again, not much going on at first. Then we get you into Tuesday or Monday night. This is at midnight Monday night. This is Tuesday morning. And look at this. This one's even further to the south. And it all has to do with where that area of low pressure forms. And again, I was talking about this on air yesterday, that if this low formed farther to the south, it would bring the heavy weather, the winter weather farther to the south. And that does indeed look to be what's happening this morning. So this is the European model. And this is at noon on your Tuesday. And as you can see, that would be a historic snowstorm for new places like New Orleans. So I was actually looking up some stats for New Orleans, and the last time New Orleans had over 2 inches of snow, I believe, was back in the 1960s. But the last time New Orleans had over 3 inches of snow was back in the 1800s. And there's the potential that they could see over 4 inches of snow in New Orleans, which would be insane. But again, this is the latest European model. And as you can see, it brings this system really far to the south. So if this was to verify, this would not be an event. This would be all south of the Arklatex, maybe skirting Natchitoches Parish, Sabine Parish there, maybe our far southern counties, far southern sections of our viewing area. But again, it looks like it's going to be, at least at this point, it looks like it's going to be pretty far to the south. So let's look at what this forecast model is saying as far as snowfall. And we'll see if it matches up with that prior one I just showed you. And as you can see, we'll take you into, yeah, look at that. Wow. That would be impressive. So that is the European model. And as you can see there, hopefully you can see on my cursor, and I know it's small in here. I do apologize. There's no way for me to zoom in much closer than this. But I think I will be able to on a different graphic. So I'm going to try to pull something else up here in a minute. But as you can see, anyone basically in the southern portions of the Arklatex, and I'm thinking this is all south of I-20 at this point, but we're talking central and southern Louisiana. So really that I-10 corridor is the area that's going to get hit the hardest. And look at that. This is the European model, and it's showing the potential right along the coast there of southern Louisiana, right on the Gulf Coast of 6+ inches of snow. I mean, this brings 6 inches of snow to New Orleans, and that would be something they haven't seen in over 100 years. Baton Rouge, in this case, would see over 6 inches. We're talking maybe Alexandria could see a lot of snow, just kind of skirting Natchitoches Parish. I'm thinking as far as accumulations here for like Natchitoches, maybe about 2 to 4 inches, which is still impactful. Places like Shreveport and Bossier along the I-20 corridor, I just don't think it's going to happen this time. We'll see. I mean, we're still a few days out. This can still change. I think this is trending south, though. So those that were hoping for the big one in Bossier, I know a lot of you are asking about Bossier, Houghton, and Shreveport, and places like that. I just don't think it's going to be a big deal for us at this point, but definitely places south are going to see some decent snow. Let's take a look at the North American model. This is what you guys were asking about, the NAM, the North American model. Now, this model, I will say, is a little bit of an outlier, and it's not the most accurate. I wouldn't really hang my hat on this particular model because this one doesn't really do the best sometimes. But just because we're doing this Facebook Live and just want to kind of show you all the possibilities, I am going to show this. Now, don't panic when you see this because this is definitely not what the other ones have been showing. But this model does show, as we push it along here, now that shows a much different scenario. As you can see, that brings the heavy snow much further to the north, and that would include the I-20 corridor and some significant snowfall. But again, I don't think this is accurate. I just will tell you straight up, I don't think this model is going to verify. Based on all the data that I've seen so far, I really think that, most of this is going to be, I don't know why it keeps doing that. I think most of this is really going to be in central and southern Louisiana, as I've been saying all along. So we'll see. We're still a few days out. I'm on the fence about issuing a first alert weather day. I will make that decision later on this afternoon. Barksdale bubble. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing. For those watching, though, from the Shreveport, Bossier metros and anyone north of I-20, this is not going to be a big deal. Now, we're going to get cold. I will say that. It's going to get very cold. We're talking wind chills that'll be in the teens by tomorrow morning, and it's going to stay very cold for the next several days. But for those that were hoping for a big snowstorm here, I just don't think that's happening. This is all going to go south. So this is central. This is really a southern Louisiana snowstorm. So places like Baton Rouge, as we talked about, Lafayette, maybe even as far north as Alexandria, Cameron, New Orleans, just trying to throw out some towns there. It could be, So this is going to be a historic snowstorm for southern Louisiana. But again, for us, not really thinking we're going to see a whole lot out of this. And again, this is the NAM. This is the North American model that I'm showing, but this is the outlier, which means that this is kind of the run. This is the model that nothing else is agreeing with. So I just wanted to show this for fun, but I don't think that's going to happen that way. I do think that it's going to be more like a scenario like this. So let me show you this again. And this is the GFS model that we're showing. And this is how I think this is going to play out. So you can see that heavy snow area is going to stay to the south. But again, as I said a million times, we're still a few days out. This can still change, so check back with us. We'll have more updates, of course, throughout the course of this event. I want to try to pull up another thing here real fast. And again, I might not be able to just because of my internet connection here at home. But if I can pull up a different thing, I would maybe be able to show you a more zoomed in view of all this. So just bear with me for 1 second. But yeah, for those of you asking about Shreveport and Bossier, I don't think this is going to be our storm. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bummed. I mean, I know it causes travel problems, but it would be kind of fun to see a big storm like that. But I just don't really see that happening, at least for us. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to pull up a graphic. I might not be able to. We'll see. Let's see here. What I'm trying to do is pull up a different source that can actually get in a more zoomed in look. And this might be a little easier for you guys to see. So just give me a second. I'll try to pull something different up here. So it's not really any closer. One sec, guys. I apologize. Bear with me. Let me see if you guys have any questions, though. HRRR, that might be true. The HRRR is more of a high-resolution forecast model. That won't be in for a couple more days. We're going to get more accurate data coming in later this weekend. I'm thinking we'll have a much better handle on all of this, hopefully by tomorrow at this time. We're still kind of far out in the future. I mean, we're still, a couple days out, which, a lot can change between now and then. So we'll have to keep an eye on how the trends go. But I just want to zoom in a little bit to Northwest Louisiana into the Arklatex to kind of give you guys a better idea. Because I know that last map I showed was a little hard to see. But let me show you this one instead. Yeah, this might be a little better. So let me go back here. And you're going to see a big picture of my face in just a second. But I'm going to try and pull up a different source here. So just give me one sec. Okay, so maybe that's easier to see for you. I know the numbers are still kind of small, but that area that you see there, that is our area of snow accumulation. And that, as you can see, is pretty far to the south. So that's well south of I-20. That purple area, that's your 4 to 8 inches, and that's going to be in central and southern Louisiana and maybe towards Baton Rouge. And again, that is your GFS forecast model. But as we go to the European model, it kind of shows the same type of deal, but even further to the south. So, I mean, look at that. That even is off the edge of our screen. That's like way down by the Gulf of Mexico. And that would, again, be pretty much south of our area for the most part. Let's go back to the GFS and go to our precipitation. So, again, this is how this would play out for us. And as you can see, this is getting into your Tuesday. This is Tuesday morning here. This is early Tuesday morning, and here comes the light. Now, I'm not saying we're not going to get any snow. I do think we'll see flakes flying here in Shreveport and Bossier. I think we will see snow. So I should have started off with that. I think we are going to see snow along I-20, but it'll be just kind of that pretty stuff. It'll be some flurries. You'll see the flakes kind of flying around in the air. It might coat some of the grassy areas, maybe a dusting possible. Which could still create some slick travel. But as far as like any big snowfall, any real accumulating snow, at this point, I do think that's going to stay off to our south. But we could be having a completely different conversation this time tomorrow. So that's why you need to check back with us, and we will update you guys again. Let's just take a look at let's look at the Canadian model just for fun. This is the Canadian model run that just came in as well. We got all kinds of different forecast models. So let's take a look at the Canadian, see what that is showing. And as you can see, that also is trending a little further south, although this one has been slightly farther to the north, but it doesn't last very long. So again, that's the Canadian. Let's see what that's showing for snowfall amounts. And again, that would bring some heftier amounts into our area, potentially into southern sections of the Arklatex. But compared to earlier model runs, even that has backed off quite a bit. This was the earlier run of that same model. And this is the latest one. And you can definitely see that trend south. So I think that I'm pretty confident now in the forecast saying that the brunt of this is going to go just to our south. So, thanks, Gerard. All right. Any questions? I don't see too many on here. I'm probably going to wrap this thing up shortly. But again, if you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer them. I might do another one of these either late today. Once we see the new models later today, I might jump on here, do another one later today, or I might do another one of these tomorrow morning. I'll definitely be doing more of these throughout the weekend to keep you guys updated. We'll see. We're going to see how this is going to pan out. I'm on the fence about issuing a first alert weather day. We might be doing that later today. And basically, what a first alert weather day means is that we're just kind of at a heightened state of awareness, pretty much. And so when we issue those first alert weather days, that's basically meaning that the weather that we're going to see is going to be impactful to your daily life and could cause some issues. And as you know, even if we get a little dusting of snow in this area, it could still cause travel impacts. So actually, Corey, just talking about that. Chris, we were discussing that. Shreveport is, I do not think we're going to get much out of this in Shreveport. Maybe up to it, maybe a dusting just to coat some things, but it's not going to be much at this point. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So a first alert day, typically we will issue that if it's going to be a more impactful system. At this point, I'm kind of on the fence about that. I posted a graphic on my Facebook page yesterday showing the impact areas, and that's a good one to look at. So go on my Facebook and look at that. It has the major, moderate, and minor impacts on the map. And I'm going to be updating that graphic today. And I will attempt to make a snowfall accumulation map at some point today and post that as well. Kind of my first stab at what I'm thinking will happen. But again, I think this is going to go just to this is because this is trending south. This is the latest forecast model. And you can see that is certainly south. Basically, that's south of the entire Arclitex. So, and just to compare this to what the model was showing at this time yesterday morning, and we've seen a pretty significant change. So this was yesterday. This was yesterday morning at the same time what the model was showing. And you can see it was a pretty significant area of snow farther to the north. And then this is the latest run. And look at that. It is all pushed south. So that's what I'm saying. I think this is trending south. Chris, I just talked about Shreveport a little while ago earlier. You'll have to, when I'm done with this Facebook Live, it'll record it and it'll save the whole thing. I would encourage you to go back and watch it. But Shreveport's not going to get much. I think this is going to be mainly to our south. We're still going to see probably some flurries here. We're probably going to see some snowflakes flying around. But I don't think we're going to have any major impact out of this along I-20 at all at this point. Maybe a little dusting, which, obviously in this area, a dusting can still cause some icy travel. And so I'd still be aware Tuesday morning that some of the side roads, some of the roads could still be a little slick. But as far as any major accumulations, that's going to all be to our south. Yeah, right. If you guys want to see snow, go south, which is how often do we get to say that? So Baton Rouge, I'm thinking like 6 to 8 inches of snow in Baton Rouge, which is crazy. Alexandria, probably looking at about a 3 to 6 inch snowfall. Just throwing some numbers out there. New Orleans maybe could see about 2 to 4, which is crazy. Natchitoches, I'm thinking more like a 1 to 3 inch, maybe 2 to 4 inch snowfall there. It could certainly change, guys. Yeah, it's still a few days out, but the trend is not our friend if you like snow. Forecast model is trending south. So I will end this now. It's going on about 25 minutes, but I will end this and we will chat later and I will post more updates. All right. You guys have a good day. Talk to you soon.